Hello everyone. Today's advanced past life regression therapy case study is about a client who had been married for only 1 year. But at the time when she should have been enjoying the honeymoon phase of her married life, she had already become trapped in a silent marriage and was gradually moving towards a great divorce. Now she came with me with three questions she wanted to discover and heal. Her first question was, why did this relationship issue begin in her life immediately after marriage? She explained that complication and problems had started so quickly after her marriage that she wanted to know whether there was some repeating pattern or unresolved karma behind them. Her second question was related to her husband's extramarital affair. Yes, after marriage, she discovered that her husband had multiple affairs outside the marriage. She wanted to understand whether there was some past life connection behind these and whether it could be healed. And her third question was about her relationship with her mother-in-law. Ever since the marriage, her mother-in-law had continuously troubling her. So she wanted to understand whether there was a karmic connection behind it and whether it could be healed. So these three questions become the foundation for understanding that entire karmic relationship story. And I'm so happy to tell you that the client not only found answers to all these three questions but also experienced healing. Moreover, what started as a past life regression session eventually moved in an entirely different direction through the guidance of spirit guides. It became much deeper and more powerful than simply exploring a past life relationship. It moved beyond soul level healing into a beyond life regression session. Now, how did I receive the guidance from the spirit guide? What messages did the client receive from her spirit guide? And most importantly, what is the powerful takeaway that I am going to share with you at the end of the story? To discover all this, please watch the video until the end. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, please subscribe it. If you enjoy this video, please make sure to like it. And what do you think about the entire karmic relationship story? Please share your thoughts in the comment section. I promise I will do my best to respond to your each and every comment. So I'm an internationally certified professional past life and beyond life regression therapist and advanced clinical and spiritual hypnotherapist and a tarot, subconscious and superconscious healing coach based in Singapore. So stay with me until the end. So my client is originally belonged to India's metro city Delhi. After marriage, she moved to Mumbai now. At the time of this session, she had been married for only about a year. It was an arranged marriage. Initially, the client was not ready for the marriage. What was the reason? The reason was, according to the client, she had born and brought up in Delhi. So she didn't initially want to leave Delhi or settle somewhere else. On the other hand, the man who is now her husband liked the client at first sight. So he sent her several marriage proposals, not once, but for almost 2 years. He approached her several times with the marriage proposal. Sometimes the client ignored him, sometimes she rejected him, and during this period the client also explored several other potential proposals, but none of those relationships moved forward. And then one fine day the man unexpectedly arrived her home with her mother. About both family met, they spoke, and finally their marriage was decided. The same man who had wanted to marry her for 2 years eventually became a cheating partner after marriage. How? I mean, when you hear the beginning of the story, it sounds so cute, so romantic. But the real question is, was this relationship simply a love story? Or there was some much more deeper karmic debt between these two souls that was repeatedly pulling them towards each other? And as the story unfolds, you will get the answer to all these questions. I receive relationship cases almost every week involving couples facing relationship issues, emotional disconnection, cheating, great divorce, and other marital challenges. On the surface level, these stories may look very similar. In one case, there is a communication gap, in another, emotional distance, in another, betrayal, in some cases, there is a divorce. But when we go deeper into each case and explore the roots through past life experience, the underlying pattern and the soul connections can be completely different. And if I start putting every single client case on YouTube, you might feel that I'm simply repeating the same story again and again. That's the reason I do not share every client case on YouTube. But you might be thinking then why did I choose this particular karmic relationship story? What is so special about it? The reason is that I receive a very clear inner message about sharing this story. Yes. So recently during the meditation, I received a strong intention that I should specifically share this story with everyone globally. So I'm a highly intuitive person, and not only I listen to my intuition, I also take action on it. And if this video has appeared in front of you today, perhaps there may be a reason behind that as well. So please do not just listen to the entire story merely as a story. There may be a hidden messages inside it for you. Try to decode it carefully. Everything is destined. I strongly believe that those whose time has come to receive a particular message will be in the right receiving mode, and somehow that message will reach them. So I'm highly confident that if this video has reached to you, there may be something for you to receive from it. Just as in my client life, the signal of the past life regression had appeared at a very early stage. At the time, she was a young girl and was not very clear about her career. She was confused. So she shared with me during that period. She consulted a renowned past life regression therapist. After her regression session, her internal energy gradually shifted and her professional life also started improving. And perhaps this personal experience became one of the major reasons why her belief in past life and karmic pattern became even stronger. Now let's move forward to the period of her marriage. When her marriage was getting delayed, a thought came to her mind. Could this delay also be connected to something from my past life? And with this thought, she once again decided to consider past life regression. Honestly, this decision was absolutely correct. But by the time the world had changed, it was now the age of social media and the internet, and many new modalities had been popular. Along with the past life regression, Akashic reading, third eye, proxy PLR, and many other modalities had started becoming accessible to people. So she told me that by the time she had also become quite busy with her career, she had money but did not have time. So she thought, why not try a modality that could give her some answer while also saving her time, instead of spending 2 or 3 hours directly going through past life regression and healing. With that thought, she consulted a famous Akashic reader. The reader told her that the reason behind the delay in the marriage and the problem surrounding it was connected to the 5 souls from her past lives. So according to the reader, because of the souls connection or the karmic influence, there was a blockages in marriage. The reader also told the client that some of these issues could be healed through distance healing. The client was also being told that whenever she shortlists a man for marriage, she should send his photograph to the reader. The reader would then energetically scan the photograph to check whether there was any connection between that person and those karmic souls, so that those souls could supposedly be prevented from entering her life. Meanwhile, another marriage proposal came through a matrimonial platform. The client really liked the man, their horoscope match, and she sent his photograph to the Akashic reader for an energy scan. The reader also gave a green signal for the soul. Everything seems perfect, but the relationship still broke. Now, why? The client belonged to a family where onion and garlic were not consumed. The man, however, consumed these foods, although there was no force or pressure from his side. In fact, he himself said that if she wanted, she could continue following her own sattvic lifestyle and food preferences even after marriage. Neither him nor his family had any problem with it. But despite this, the client herself decided that she could not marry into a family where such food was consumed, and the relationship ended there. And immediately after that relationship ended, the man, who is now her husband, once again sent a marriage proposal to the family. By this time, the client age was also increasing, and this family also did not consume the garlic and the onion. In the other world, the lifestyle she wanted seems to match the family, so she sent the photograph of this future husband to the Akashic reader for another energy scan. The reader gave this soul a green signal as well, and this time, because of the family pressure and her age, she finally said yes to this marriage proposal. Now, this raised some very important questions here. If everything was so planned, spiritually as well as physically, that what went wrong? Where was the mistake? Are the Akashic records really accurate? Can we actually avoid our karmic relationships? Or, as people say, whatever is meant to happen will happen anyways. Is that really true? And if these questions are coming to your mind too, please write them in the comments. Now, as the time passed, the client said that initially everything seems fine after marriage, but soon after the marriage, she discovered that her husband had multiple extramarital affairs. Gradually, the reality of her married life started becoming visible. Her mother-in-law also began troubling her. Her husband never physically abused her, but there was almost no physical intimacy between husband and wife. She was completely alone in this entire city. So financially, she was also dependent on her husband because she did not have a job. And this was the point where she decided, now I need to undergo an advanced past life regression therapy and find out what the root cause of all this really is. I need to find out it, heal it at the soul level. When the main session began, the client was in a deep trance to the theta level. So then she was instructed to enter her immediate past life, one directly connected to the relationship issue in her current life. And the very first scene that appeared was quite fascinating. She saw a beautiful upper middle class home. A man was standing at the entrance of the house while a woman was inside waiting for him. It was already quite late at the night and the man had returned home very late. As I understand the scene through the client's perspective, one thing was very clear. The woman loved the man, like her husband, deeply. She was very innocent, caring, and completely trusting him. She believed in her husband without questioning him. She was in every sense a loving and devoted wife. But there was something very different on the husband's side. He respected his wife, he cared for her in his own way, but emotionally he was disconnected from him. And then the reason became very clear. He had developed a very strong feeling for someone else. So I guided my client to experience the person towards where that man had this intense feeling, and the entire scene changed suddenly. And there was a same man inside a hotel room, but this time he was with a beautiful young girl. The connection between them was extremely strong. There was a deep emotional bond between them. There was another man in that past life also, and that was the wife brother. And the brother does not like the sister's husband at all, and he also believed that the husband is actually cheating on her. Now the client was guided into the death movement to end this life, which is a very important step in this process. And the scene changed, and that scene was quite intense because that was the death scene. The client saw the both men, husband and the brother, were standing near the edge of the mountain. There was having a heated argument between them. Gradually, the argument became so intense that the situation went completely out of control, and suddenly, in anger, the wife brother pushed his sister's husband, and the husband lost the balance, fell down the mountain and died instantly. And now think about it. Who was who in that past life? We need to connect the past life with the present life people. And I think many of you may have already guessed it right. So yes, so my client was actually that husband in the past life. The husband who was emotionally involved with another woman while being married to a loving and trusting wife. So in other words, in that past life, my client was the who had betrayed the relationship, and the young girl with whom my client had experienced that deep emotional connection was the same soul who had appeared in this present life also. Yes, you guessed it right. The same man who had once proposed marriage in the past life, you see, these two souls had have very close connection, true love kind of connection. And in the present life, that same soul had returned. But this time, my client did not recognize him. Based on her present life circumstances, preferences, and choices, she rejected that relationship. And the loving, innocent, and deeply trusting wife from that past life, yes, you guessed it right again, is her present life husband. See, this is the relationship my client eventually chose in this lifetime, and that became a very extreme, painful experience for her, because that was the woman who had been hurt by her husband emotionally in that life, that past life. And now come to the brother, that wife's brother in that life, who that man could be. So we were trying to find out the mother-in-law energy in that past life, and then that scene with the man came. So basically, wife brother came as a mother-in-law in this present life. So in that life they were brother and sister, and then this life they become mother and son. Quite interesting, right? And the emotional root of the mother-in-law relationship in this life were also very visible in the past line. So friends, there is something very important I want to tell you in this moment. So before completing about any relationship or life situation, take a moment and observe it. Sometimes the very things we are looking for, the things we repeatedly asked the universe or the God for may manifest in front of us in a different form, but we fail to recognize it. Why? Because our mind, we already had some fixed image, expectation, condition, or some kind of checklist. And we compare the signals, these opportunities or people sent by the universe with a predefined checklist, and then we reject them. So as I said earlier, stay in a receiving mode. You no need to be like blindly manifest everything, but do not reject an opportunity simply because it does not appear in the exact format you imagine. Perhaps the universe gives you what is right for you, but not always in the form you imagine. So now we will go to the client's death moment. So after the client died, after falling from the cliff, the natural process of deep soul level releasing, closure, and healing was initiated. Then the process of the forgiveness and karmic release was also conducted. The soul of the wife from that past life, her brother were called forward. The client tried to offer forgiveness to both souls and release the karmic energy. And all the techniques available were used, but the soul of the wife refused to forgive the husband. A great deal of efforts were made, even the spirit guides were invoked, but the wife's soul still did not forgive the husband. And because forgiveness was not uttered completely, closure could not take place in that past life. Torturing was also not possible. So perhaps that unresolved energy later become a karmic debt, bringing these two souls together again in another lifetime. And after this, client was taken into another subsequent past life, and that scene was completely different, but the situation was surprisingly similar. In this past life, the client again saw herself in the role of wife. So in that life as well, in a present life also, she is a woman and a wife, and in that life also she saw herself in the same role of the wife of someone, and the person she was married to was in that life was her present life husband. But this lifetime carried a very deep emotional intensity. As a wife, the client loved her husband very deeply and blindly in that past life. Her entire emotional world revolved around her husband, but her husband repeatedly cheated on her. Not once, she saw multiple events in which her husband had affair with many different women. And they were very casual affairs. And the most painful realization was that the marriage had not happened because of the love in that past life. Her husband had married her for money and the business benefits. So once again, there was one soul who was completely emotionally attached and another soul who was taking advantage of that attachment and repeatedly betraying her. And the same pattern appeared again in another lifetime. We then wanted to reach the past where the entire karmic loop had begun. The very initial life where the seed of this pattern had been planted. And what had happened, there was cross these two souls in this pattern relationship of love and betrayal and return again as a husband-wife. To find out this, the client was therefore instructed to enter her earlier, very initial past life connected to this issue so that we could reach the root of the entire problem. As soon as she entered the initial past life, they again appeared as a husband and wife. In this lifetime, the client was once again a woman. She was again someone's wife, and the man who was her husband in the life was the same soul who is her husband in this present life. Same souls, same role in initial past life. And as soon as the first scene opened, she saw the husband and wife having a very intense argument. The very first scene was fight scene. She was then instructed to explore the reason behind the fight. The client said, we are fighting over money. Her husband was shouting at her, you don't know how to manage money. You spend too much money going out, shopping, partying, and fulfilling your own needs. You don't care about the future. The client was being asked then, is there any truth about it? Like, is there any, you are really wrong? Or you are simply being blamed unfairly? What is the actual happening there? So she said, I don't think I have done anything wrong. I'm a working woman, earn my own money and spend it on my needs. I don't think I have done anything wrong. And this is where a very important layer of the story emerged. See, sometimes from our own perspective, we feel that we are completely right. We genuinely believe I haven't done anything wrong. And when something bad happens to us, we said, if I haven't done anything wrong, why is this happening to me? But have we ever stopped to understand how the other person is seeing the same event, the other person's perspective? That's exactly what we explore in this therapy. We used a technique to understand the husband's perspective, to understand the situation from his point of view. The client's consciousness was shifted into her husband's perspective so that she could experience, she could feel herself what was actually happening inside him at that point of time. And the truth that emerged was completely different. From the outside, it looked as though the husband was constantly fighting with her about money, about wasting money. But internally, his emotions were completely different. She said, I feel that my husband wants a child, but I don't want a child yet. Then she said, I feel that I don't he feel that I don't love him and that I don't want to have a child with him. She also sensed that deep inside, the husband, suspect that perhaps she was having a relationship with a colleague at her office, and that is a reason why she's delaying having a child. So she was asked then, do you actually having any affair with someone? She said, no, I have no relationship with anyone outside my marriage. And throughout that entire lifetime, what we saw, the wife never knew what was actually happening inside the husband's mind, and the husband never openly expressed his feeling. And the wife obviously could not understand what was he was thinking. You may not believe this, but in many of our relationship cases involving married couples that come to be, I see exactly this kind of silence. Two people are in the same relationship, but they never openly communicate. One person is feeling something but does not say. The other person interprets that silence according to their own interpretation. So these internal thoughts and emotion gradually turn into belief, and these beliefs eventually turn into anger. That become their own version of the truth, their own version of reality, and something similar happened here also. Inside the husband, insecurity, sadness, loneliness, and the feeling of being rejected continue to grow. And consciously or unconsciously, he carried that belief that the way I am, launching for you today, and day you will come, you will you will be do for same for me, you will feel same for me. That emotional pain from that lifetime never receive a closure, and that was the real root of the entire pattern. The love that remained incomplete, the pain that was never released, the emotions that were never expressed. All of this remain as unresolved energy between the two souls, and perhaps that unresolved energy, that unfinished love, continue to be carried from one lifetime into another. Instead of understanding each other, the souls continue to betray each other, and a kind of tick and tack pattern. When the client was taken into the death moment of that initial past life, she said she was experiencing intense pain in her abdomen and the lower back area. In that life, she died while giving birth to a child. This information had not been shared by the client before the session, but after the session, when she was asked about it, she revealed that in her current life, she had also experienced 2 miscarriages and had been suffering from continual lower back pain. And after the session, the client was reported significant improvement in her lower back pain. So the patient, if you'll see the pattern visibly in that past life, appear to have some connection with what was being carried forward into the current life. Now tell me, in seeing the entire story, which soul is the green flag here? Which soul is a red flag here? Look at carefully. Across different lifetimes, both souls had been repeatedly cheating each other. They had a repeating pattern of love, attachment, and betrayal in a different form. Therefore, when the energies of all these souls were stand during the Tashi reading, all the souls, including the husband's soul, appeared a green flag. And I believe that this could be because the karmic loop had become so complex that there was no single soul who could clearly be labeled as a wrong or as a red flag. Not the husband, and perhaps not the other person either. Every soul was entering this relationship carrying his own emotion, experience, karmic pattern, and incomplete lesson. So, at the soul level, simply labeling someone as a good or bad is not always that straightforward. After the soul level healing was completed, the spirit guide was invoked. We asked the spirit guide, how many lifetimes has this repeated karmic pattern been continued? And why has this karmic debt still not been cleared? According to the guidance we received, this pattern had been continuously coming from approximately 20 lifetimes. We had explored why 3 lifetimes during this 2 to 3 hour session already. But apparently the same pattern had been repeating one form or another for around 20 lifetimes. Again and again, the same souls were returning in a different circumstances. So anyways, the spirit guide said, now it is not enough for you to simply just understand this loop. It's necessary to break it. And the solution is not in the past life alone. The solution would be found by going beyond life. And this is where, as a therapist, I decided to take the client into a Beyond Life Regression session. Friends, the studio had already been quite long. So when the client was taken into the Beyond Life, what happened next? Where did the client see in her soul family? Was the soul of her present life husband actually a part of a soul family or an enemy soul? And why had this karmic pattern been created in the first place? And most importantly, did the spirit guide give the permission to dissolve their soul contracts? So we receive answer to all these questions during our Beyond Life Regression therapy session, and I'm going to make a separate video about it. So if you want to watch the next part of the story and do not want to miss it, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you receive the notification. So thank you so much everyone for listening me. See you in the next video. Bye.